Oh, thanks.
Okay. All righty, so we are going, it's 2:52. We're gonna call the committee of the whole meeting to order, please. And start with acknowledging that we are privileged to meet on the unceded and ancestral territories of the Squamish and Scotland nations. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Is there any amendments? No. Okay, so then we have a recommendation there.
That the agenda of this meeting be approved.
Oh,
Second.
Oh, I think Lisa just did. Thank you, Lisa. Any objections? I can see none, that's accepted. Should we open that door since we're in a open
That's some
meeting?
Aaron.
I think the wind just blew.
Yeah.
Oh, did
I think
it?
it is stopper.
We put a chair in front.
It's got a thing. Oh, there you go.
Oh, sweet.
Let all our public in. And so we're going to recommendation there for some minutes.
That the minutes of the committee of the whole meeting held on June 14th, 2023 be adopted.
Thank you, April. Is there a second for that? Thank you, Rachel. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, that's carried. I don't believe there are any trustee items. With that, we can go to the information items, trustee calendar and upcoming events.
Thank you, Rebecca. Okay. I'm just gonna go over some of the highlights for the next couple of months. So next week, next Thursday, we're having the welcome back barbecue and it's gonna be at the Squamish Golf Course. And it's from 5:15 to 7:15. So I'm just wondering if everybody's able to make it, if anyone's, and Melissa's away. I think Lisa's away too, right, Lisa?
I am still in the UK till the 26th.
Lisa's away. Anyone else not able to come?
There's a chance I might not be able to.
Oh.
Work at a couple of thing, but I won't know until Tuesday.
Okay, so Rebecca, usually you would do like a welcome back
Yeah.
message, so.
I'll do if you can't go.
Cynthia, I can do it if I can.
Okay, and one of the things that I know some people really enjoyed last year when you had everybody ask them to introduce themselves. I think people really enjoyed like getting to know everybody's names and stuff like that.
Okay.
So if whoever, whichever one of you guys are doing that, that'd be great. Okay, awesome. So
I've just never been to, I'm just curious as to who are we welcoming?
oh, thank you. That's a good question.
Well, I've not been to it, but
So it's an exempt staff barbecue, so it's all the principals, vice principals, and all the other exempt staff here, so any of the managers or the district staff.
And it coincides with our first September ed leadership meeting, so that's why all of our PDPs from the north on down will all be here.
okay.
So it's an opportunity to hear anyway for September, and then with the board. We'll still work on the
Yeah.
barbecue. Thank you, and this year I'll just ask the board chair to give me morning and they would like me to speak.
Always be prepared.
Always
Very good.
prepared. I think that's a hint,
Point
hint.
taken, for Rebecca.
Okay,
Did I ask you to speak?
oh,
Yeah, good for me.
good for me. So I think that's a hint, is you can probably prepare for that, so.
20-minute speech prepared.
Okay, awesome.
Before we eat.
Yeah.
Okay, and then that's September, so that's next Thursday. And yeah, so that we have like the finance director, facilities director, transportation manager, the homestay coordinator, the bin stuff, like there's a whole bunch of. So that's, yeah, it's a nice barbecue, yeah. And it's a nice place to have it. And then the next actual item is there's a trustee orientation session set up by BCSDA on Zoom. And that's October 3rd from 5 to 7 at night online. So feel free to join that. And then,
Can I just make a comment? I think
Sure.
those are recorded too, aren't they? Yeah.
I
as
think
I
they
Mhm.
said
recall,
they-
Last year, yeah, okay, great.
I think they're posting them on the hub.
Yeah.
And then October 4th, we'll have the agenda setting committee. So if anybody has any agenda setting, if anybody has any agenda items, please send them to us before then. And then October 4th, so that's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. There's a possible inclusion committee meeting set up that's not confirmed. And also there's an SD 48 liaison meeting. I'm not sure if you're here for that, Rebecca.
When is that?
October 4th.
Yeah.
Sorry, October 10th. You're right. Thank you.
I'm like, how many, put all of that on? Yes, I'm here.
Okay, great. And then that brings us to our October 11th board meeting. So we're gonna have, we're hoping to have it in Whistler. We still haven't confirmed a venue. So once we have that confirmed, hopefully we can have it in Whistler, and then we'll also be having our Whistler custodian recognition dinner. same day.
Danielle, I have a previous engagement for that one. I will not be able to attend. I might be able to Skype in from or Zoom in from a couple of sessions, but unfortunately I've got a prior commitment.
Okay, thanks for letting us know. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, any questions about that? Any of those? things? No? Okay. And the next is the board work plan.
Would you speak to the truth reconciliation?
No.
Oh, no, sorry, that you were gonna do that.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Chris. Yes.
All right. So, as folks know, or hopefully are aware, our polls for the survivors flags are in place now. And schools are working locally with their respective First Nations and the Indigenous support workers around planning for the raising of the flag. And so we are working with them in a deference model, and we will follow their lead. So as more information comes forward, as in terms of dates and times, we will share those with you, and again, do our best ourselves as well, senior staff, to be at these events. I think we're hoping that they'll be done in time before the National Day of Reconciliation, but it's possible that some of the schools may be deferring until after that date, and that's to ensure that First Nations representation is there. So we will provide updates to all of you as we learn more as well. We're very much looking forward to this event.
Quick one on that, some time ago, Jordan Sturdy reached out and wanted to be invited to that. I think he presumes it's all district all at the same time. But he does live in Pemberton, so I'm just hoping that that's okay to send out. I had another fellow too, the local Peter Gordon wanted to also be invited to one of those things, so I'm just asking if that is, it's gonna be, I'm guessing it's public. It'll be open to the public.
So I'm going to assume so, but we're going to follow the lead of our Indigenous nations, but I know there'll be room for
Yeah,
dignitaries and others, and we can send that information out as it
Okay.
comes. So thanks a reminder for our MLA.
thank you.
It's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So next is the ed session. So we are looking to have our legal, like the Harrison call, Jessica's. Come in and do a session for us, and I think sooner than later. And it's all on conflict of interest and code of conduct for trustees. I was talking to Kevin Brody, our president of VCSTA, and they've had those sessions in their district in the past, and saw great value in it. And I think that it's always important for us to revisit what our roles are as trustees and how we're always trustees. So seeing if when we can schedule something. What dates were we
Yeah, so
thinking of?
Jessica reached back out to us and is just looking for what dates and times work best for us, or sorry, for you folks, and then she'll put that against her calendar. Hopefully there's some overlap. And so basic questions were what works best for people? Is it in the day? Is it early evening? She'd love to come in person, which is lovely. Cost us more though with her travel time. I think that's all right. This is important. But I'm assuming that there'll still be a Zoom option as well. So I don't know if we have Archie put out a doodle poll for people to just ask general questions about what days of the week and what times generally work.
I think if you don't mind, Chris, I'm just gonna quickly ask, because I know there's some people that are away. So it might make it difficult. So like Rebecca, you said you're gonna be away?
Yeah, I'm away from the September 24th to October 1st.
September
So that's
24th. And are you available like via Zoom and stuff? Or you?
Depending on which port I'm in.
Okay, okay.
So I think we'll maybe then, if I may,
Yeah.
send out a schedule with, like almost like a doodle,
When are you
right, which
available?
says days of the week, days you're not available, and again, a preference for evening or day, early evening, etc. We want to ensure we get as many folks as possible.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Sorry, Celeste.
I just wasn't sure of the length. If it were unable to find a day, could the final option be to do it at the beginning or prior to the start of our October board meeting
Yes. we
as a backup plan?
For that, we were hoping to get it earlier though,
Yeah,
So not a month out, but.
Mhm.
yeah, for sure. Okay.
but absolutely, if we can have the date, that will be the set one.
And like Lisa mentioned, she probably can attend the next board meeting. So do we want to proceed? If not, like everybody can attend, or do we want to have every single? It's probably better. to
I
have
think
every-
it's highly important and I can figure out how to get on a Zoom call. Like if have to do it while I'm still in the UK, I'm happy to figure out how this time zone works. I think it's pretty important that we get that education under our belts moving forward. So
Okay, so can Archie, you do
People organize.
with some options? Is there a particular interest in evenings or days? Does it make a difference? Days, I mean, daytime?
while I'm in the UK daytime, if I'm at home, I would prefer 4:30, 5 o'clock time zone. But
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, so I'll leave that with Archie then too.
Okay.
You. Were there any other questions on the calendar? Okay, hearing none, then that moves us on to the board year ahead overview.
Yeah, so attached in there's the board work plan. I'm not gonna go through it, but I just ask if anybody, I don't know if everybody saw the original attachment, it was incorrect, so we've updated that now. But if anybody notices that we're missing something or that there's an error, just let me know. If there's anything you know of right now, let me know too, that's fine. But that's basically the plan for the year, for the board.
Okay, Celeste?
Yeah, I love that we have this. And I just wanted to confirm, I think that this is the case. This is a fluid working document, so things will probably be added as
Mhm.
time passes. And it's wonderful that we have this to kind of guide our workflow. Thanks, Finland.
Thanks, Celeste. Thank you. Yeah, so just if there's anything you see that's missing or let me know, but thank you for that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and then the next piece is the board engagements calendar. So that's just more for everybody's information for the whole year. I went over the first couple months. But feel free to take a look through there. And if you notice that you're going to be away, I know some trustees have already let me know that they're away for certain dates. Just let me know that you won't be available that date. You can send Archie and myself an email and Rebecca and Cynthia as well and Chris. As long as one of us gets it, make sure you send it to me. And that would be great. And the school learning plans are there as well, along with the employee recognition lunches. So I'm just wondering, I know there's a number of you that said you can't make the November 1st school learning plan meeting. Is there any other conflicts as of right now?
I won't be there. On November 3rd.
November, I know you told me that you're not around for the November and the 20, are you, so Rachel, are you going away? Do you have, when are you away?
October 15th.
Do you know when you're coming back yet?
It was supposed to be the 29th, but I might change it so I can attend the academy.
Oh, so you might be back in October.
No, the academy in November.
Oh, like you might be back in November?
I will be back in November.
Oh, you will be, okay.
Yeah.
And then are you going away, Rebecca, for the winter? Are you like gonna be going away more than that though? Like, are you gonna be,
I will be, but I'll be back for December and the January board meeting at least, and
okay, well, everyone, just let me know what your,
Yeah.
what your travel plans are.
I'm trying to
That would
work
just be-
around this as well.
Oh, that's great. Awesome.
Jump in just to say, I do want to share that the principals are really actually excited and thankful that we actually split it for as well. They really appreciated the option, and it was pretty much an even split of the folks that wanted to do it in the fall and folks that want to do it in the spring. So I'm looking forward to see how this works out. Hopefully, it's a more fulsome experience for everyone. So it's great. Thank you for your flexibility.
Mhm. Okay. Thanks. That's it for me.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking really far ahead. I'm gonna be gone November 29th to December 9th. And it says here on November 29th, there's a school learning plan that's like all day 9. That, I don't know what that is.
It could be either in the morning or in the afternoon.
Okay, so it's that.
Or it could be in both.
Means there's more than one happening.
Yeah.
On the same day.
But you're away, sorry, November
November
29th
29th to December 9th.
and 9. Okay. Thank you.
Agenda. Lost my agenda.
So
I can see the agenda and I'm up next, so
Okay,
if
go ahead.
Sochi, I can just speak. I'm sorry, I have bad news about the South Coast Branch meeting update. I sent Dacia a couple of emails to get an update from her, and I haven't heard back, which is super unusual because she's usually really on it. So maybe she's either away and not answering her emails, or I don't know. So I don't have anything to report, but I was going to give everybody an update on whether or not there were some meetings planned for the 3 branches to get together and have a meeting, and to give you an update on the results of the survey. So once I get an email back from her, I'll just send out an email to everyone and let you know what happened and the results of those 2 things. So I'm sorry, there's nothing to say right now. If anyone else is privy to any other information.
I think our secretary and treasurer, did you not hear from?
Oh, I just saw the results.
Oh, you saw.
I just saw it.
Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm allowed to share.
Oh,
So
I didn't see from stats.
That's
I
right.
sorry, I didn't.
I
Okay.
didn't say anything.
What you say the
All
same.
right, kick me to the table. All right.
all right. Okay, yeah, so I'll just wait to hear from her, and if it's soon, I'll send out an email, and otherwise we'll just do an update at the next meeting, but I bet she'll be in touch soon.
And sorry, do you mind if we go back to school learning plans for a minute? Okay, thanks. So Archie just asked me just to see if there's anybody that had a preference for schools. Celeste?
My preferences are unchanged from last year.
Same as last year.
Yeah, I have a strong preference to go into the high schools and the middle schools. And I think we're all gonna go attend Qualicun again. Is that the plan for everybody to go?
I'm not sure at this point.
I don't think we've
Okay.
discussed that yet. but we're
Okay.
happy to with the subsequent
I
meeting
would-
for Sure.
But
I
you know,
would-
doing a trek like that, I think there's a lot of value in all of this.
Yes.
as well.
Yeah, I would love to go to the very north as well. But you can put me where you need me.
Okay,
Other
thank you
than
for that. Does anyone else have a preference on
Um,
where schools?
I would like to see some of the schools I didn't see last time. So GIG, for example, or what have you. And I also don't mind where you put me, but I know November 1st, I'm so sorry. I just can't get out. I'm off at 2, if that helps. It doesn't look like it does. But yeah, I'm happy to go wherever you need me to. So
Okay, thank you.
I'm happy to volunteer November 1st and go to Blackwater. I haven't been in there for a while. And Signal Hill.
Nice.
I'd like to see the Whistler schools too. I haven't been there for a while. Seeing as I live there.
mhm.
I agree with Lisa. I like to see schools that I haven't seen, but I don't have a preference. So
Okay,
doesn't matter. Throw me in, boss.
sounds good.
I have a list of schools that I'd like to go to because even like over the amount of times, there's a couple schools I've never been to, but I
Okay.
can just send.
Do you
a
want to
list-
email them? Sure.
I'll email it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't
Fine.
matter. I'll
Okay.
just go wherever
That's great.
it works for everybody.
Thank you. Thanks, Cynthia. Okay, Carla?
No, I'm good. Where
You're good? Okay, we'll try to maybe switch it up a bit for the, it's nice, to, like, I like to go to the different schools.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. All right. Next up we go. Okay.
Alrighty. Got it. Found it. Discussion items are up next, board committees, and Chris, you were there.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I had a query, a question from staff, specifically. We were talking about the early learning committee, and we know that we
Yay.
have for a long time, and in speaking with Phil, reminding me that committee was first struck for a specific purpose when the notion of early learning and seamless day and the thing on the horizon of the potential grants to get a district vice principal was in place. So because those things are now in place, we were wondering, pleasure of the board, if instead of a committee, because we don't always have things sort of part of every time, and it's just a standing item that looks a little bare, that instead staff would just provide updates and reports as necessary as we move forward with the transition from mission education and childcare, because the original purpose of the committee has actually been met. So just wanted to know board's feeling on that suggestion.
Celeste?
I want to do something.
I think that committees can be a really valuable way for the board to stay informed. But so maybe if it just looked different, but there might be a way to engage board members or invite them in to observe and to better understand, and then to be able to report back to the rest of the board. I would hate to do away with it too quickly, because it really is our opportunity to engage and get better insight into the work that staff's doing.
Anyone else?
I concur. I really want to play, not with trains, but I want to get involved and understand and see where we're going with policy direction as all of this unfolds, right? So it's a pretty big topic in the community and through the schools, and I think we should be as informed as possible as we're going through all of this with the different networking that we can potentially do as well, right? So yeah.
I appreciate that. That's why I brought it up. So what I'm hearing, I think what I may suggest makes sense is we will take a look at the terms of reference. And if it requires, well, will require an update, then we can bring that forward, actually have the committee actually do that work. Perhaps at the next board meeting, right? In terms of early learning committee, and we'll go from there. I appreciate the input. Thank you.
Okay.
I think Chris came up with a good idea, and I was just going to bring up the idea that everyone seems to be really pressed for time, and a lot of people are away, and I could be wrong, but I feel like adding more meetings on committees, especially committees that haven't been meeting in quite some time. Like, I just wonder, like, are we just keeping these alive for the sake of having them on a piece of paper? If they're not meeting and people are struggling to make just our regular appointments already, then am I making sense?
Maybe total.
Because I understand Celeste's perspective. I see why these things are important, but our staff are busy people. Having meetings for the sake of meetings is ridiculous. And if we're not meeting our basic obligations of everyone attending all of our board meetings, then yeah, anyhow, that's just my sort of feeling. Like, are we utilizing everyone's time to the best of our abilities? I guess that's sort of where I'm going.
Fair enough. Les?
I think it would be interesting to look at the models that exist in other districts in terms of engaging and informing trustees adequately, because we meeting 12 or less than 12 times a year in these forums isn't really enough to get a good understanding and to do our jobs properly. So perhaps the way that we're utilizing committees, I mean, I have attended the inclusion committee meetings. Those are really helpful meetings to attend. I'm sorry that my work schedule doesn't allow me to attend them anymore, because I really, really enjoyed it. And so I certainly don't think that anybody should be having meetings for the sake of meetings, but I think meaningfully engaging trustees in meetings that are already happening, for example. Again, I don't know what it looks like in other districts, but I think that there's a way to do it to ensure that we are not creating more of a gap in our understanding. Like, we need to be brought into the fold to some degree as observers so that we can really understand the work that's being done and then do our jobs more effectively.
I think that's a fair point. And I wonder maybe if just a little bit more reporting, if that's what
Thank you. No, I.
staff are asking for, just to give that information out.
Two things. One, I think I just need to hear if it's emotional, what it is to compare. If it's as per, then I guess we need to vote on everything. But what I would say is that if that's the pleasure of the board, we want to continue with the meetings at the term of reference meeting. That's where we can establish the purpose of the committee, what sorts of things may be reported on, and frequency. Right, and again, I don't want to speak for staff who have that in their portfolio, but it may be that instead of appearing monthly, it's bi-monthly. With the understanding that if something comes up that's necessary for reporting, that will of course happen as a information item, discussion item. But to the point of feeling if there was nothing to discuss in the earlier frame of reference, terms of reference, then it would have been meaningful to say to me. But I'm hearing a desire to again be more informed about issues pertaining to early learning. And again, I think I would suggest to the chair responsible for the committees that be sort of what you'd ask staff to do at the next committee meeting, would be to reevaluate the terms of reference and hammer that out so they are meaningful.
Yeah. Lisa, do you have something?
Yeah, and I was just going to add, when I sat on municipal council, we all had a portfolio and we didn't play with trains. We went to the meetings that pertained to either transportation, to whatever it was. And we each had a portfolio that we were responsible to report back on, something similar to what we've got set up here. But the value add that I'm receiving, I haven't been to anything. So for your sake of meeting for meeting, Cynthia, I've not been to a meeting. I have only had the one interaction with David reporting out on what the early years stuff has been doing. So from an education perspective for myself, I want to be able to fly on the wall into some of these things and get those perspectives on how we address things that come to this board table and parent engagement and all these kinds of things, so that we are as informed as we possibly can be. And it may just be a fly on the wall at one of the meetings. Someone else going into the meetings that, I mean, I can't remember that I was in one of the DPAC meetings, I think too, but in the inclusion meetings, but the more we can attend, I think the better, not for meeting's sake, but to just help us do what we need to do. Sorry, I ramble.
Celeste?
Would it be possible to look at the terms of reference that exist in other districts and just see, like, how is it being done elsewhere, you know, so that we can get some insight? I'm sure that somebody has figured out a way to achieve what I'm asking for in a way that doesn't waste anyone's time.
And I don't think, I think I'm just gonna jump in there and say that, I don't think that Cynthia is saying that we're meeting for the sake of meeting, but we need to make sure that we're getting the value out of it that we require. And if you recall, we have changed how we do work with some of our committees. Because there needs to be that separation and some of them, like all the committees are different. Finance used to be a committee. We decided that it's now going to be open to all, like for all trustees to attend, because we saw the value in everyone hearing the information at the same time. There have been other committees that have just ceased because they're redundant or you know, we
Met their needs.
yeah, and such. So I think that's where we're at. I think looking at it in terms of reference to see where it is, because we also need to make sure that we're not that some committees, and I'm not saying this one, are not what would it be, looking like it's part of the board's work. Like there are some things we've been invited to, or trustees have wanted to attend, where all of a sudden it might look like it's a district initiative and they are not. Where they're, you know, like it's hard to separate. It comes back to this, you know, you're always a trustee. So I could not go to prom meetings for my daughters because in Pemberton, because it was an unsanctioned event, because it would look like I am a trustee and I put the district at in a liability position by attending as a trustee, or whether I'm saying I'm a parent or not, you don't take off that hat. So
Well,
I think hearing here is that we want to look into it more and obtain some more information, and be it from other districts or throw it out there. I'm sure you have some
I'm
superintendent relations.
and I really appreciate the conversation, and I'm hearing what different folks are saying. And I guess I would be remiss not to again, just be clear that I'm hearing you know, Lisa, your understanding of not playing with the trains. So, you know, it may be that it's about a standing item, or it's a staff report to update what's happening, right? Like monthly, we have a wonderful ILT team that's been doing a ton of great work with early learning and play, for example. And I know that Heather Andersoff came at the end in January and did a report related to that portfolio. And it may be that, you know, the whole board would actually appreciate having those updates. Rather than potentially in a committee and then reporting out, you're actually hearing from the staff that are doing the work. So that could be an approach as well. But I'll absolutely take the advice and you know, look into current terms of reference, what other boards are doing. But I will obviously need to ensure, right? Again, as you said, that again, talking about conflict of interest, ensuring that there isn't. I would hate, you know, I know everyone has best of intentions, but the last thing we would want is anyone feeling like a board member or a whole board actually was getting engaged in operations.
And I just say, sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, go ahead.
Say that we're trying to we need to be as engaged and informed as possibly can. And maybe the outcome might be, there's a better way to do it.
Yes.
To get all that information, to all trustees. So Lisa, go ahead.
I was just going to say anything that's impacting the budget and our students should be reported out more often. And whether it's through us going to those meetings where those decisions are happening that are influencing us and our policies and decisions, we need to be more engaged. And I still feel that my information load isn't anywhere close to where I want it to be with our board. And I want to be as informed as I can. And I will leave it at that. So Chris, I trust you'll take all the little bits and carry forward how to help educate me, because online isn't doing it for me. I need that tactile paper or that one-on-one conversation or the group conversation to help me come to some decisions, especially if we're looking at ways to reduce the budget in certain places. So we're going to end up with less of a deficit out of some areas, right? So and when we have these ministry conversations and we're the ones that are bumping into these people and being invited to conversations, it's good to have that knowledge bank and be able to go, hey, we need help here, we need help there, and how do we help you with this, so that it rolls out easier and faster, potentially, for the students. So last words, sorry.
Anyone have anything to follow up? Chris, you have your direction?
Thank you.
Okay, seeing nothing, then we can move on. So the next up is the trustee professional learning opportunities. So this the question that arose, and we wanted to ensure that the board, so it'll be a bit of a well, we shared the policy there, so on how we access the professional learning funds for trustees. And then we were going to also talk about some of the free stuff that's already available. So
Yeah.
Do you guys want to?
Yeah, sure. So basically right now what our policy says right now is that if a trustee is interested in taking professional development outside of BCSTA Trustee Academy and the AGM, that a request has to come into the Secretary Treasurer, Superintendent and Chair, and they would review it and decide, right, if that was going to be allowed or not. So I just wanted to share that we did a deep dive into how much we spent last year. And like, I'm personally quite shocked. So I'm not sure if everybody's aware of this, but just the BCSTA membership fees was $30,000.
It's funny, I actually thought it was more.
Yeah, really? That's just. Oh, sorry, 36,000, but that's just for membership fees. And then trustee, like adding the, and then if I add in Trustee Academy and Trustee AGM, we spent 50 grand. Yeah, so, and then like we did pay for some like, Robert's rules and stuff last year, but I was just shocked at like the cost of all of that. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So, yeah. Just wanted to see if there's anything.
Plus, we go through our board education plan. We all talk together about what we want to see. And so we have those opportunities that are available to all trustees as well.
Yeah, so BCSTA has been creating those
And those,
webinars
yeah.
right, and those evening webinars that's free. And then obviously there's training at the Trustee Academy and the AGMs, and we're putting on board sessions as well, like 3 to 4 of them a year. So that's what's currently available now. Yeah.
And then the national conference that Cynthia and I attended.
Yeah. So we were discussing that too, because like they're going to speak about it tonight at the open board meeting about their attendance of the conference, because they really, really enjoyed it. But they said for the most part, most school districts were just sending a couple people, and it is quite expensive, you know, when you
Mhm.
factor in the hotel and travel and everything like that, but they found it was super, super worthwhile.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, Celeste?
Yeah, so I'm interested in leadership courses through the Justice Institute. The courses are a day to 3 days in length, in the range of $200 to $700 a course. And it would be really helpful for me if there was any support available through the district, because those courses will support me in the work that I'm doing here. Totally love the BCSTA stuff. But at this time in my life, I'm looking for leadership training, specifically conflict resolution for sure. We see so much of that in this work. So I think that, you know, just transparency around who's able to access funds for continuing ed, and how we can access stuff like this, because it's important. We're in super important roles. And for me, like, this is what I need right now in my life. I need more of that in order to do my job effectively. So any support with attending those Justice Institute courses, which again they're online, like they're very affordable to attend. I can do it from my house.
I'm wondering if we should be looking at our budgets, because I don't think that anyone accesses any of it independently, to my knowledge. It's always been board, like collective, that we've done the training, so other than maybe some books and things like that. So that might be something that, because it's up to the chair and the superintendent and secretary treasurer to review the request. Again, this is new to me, this side of it, and I think it's new to staff as well.
However, I think it's a great conversation.
Yeah.
because If there's, again, if folks have any opinions right now or want to wait till the next board meeting to have that conversation, you know, I think it's important, first of all, we recognize what opportunities are available, what we're spending. And if there's a feeling from board, you know what, could we consider adding a little more to the budget to allow for some other training outside of what's covered in the policy, then we would actually also need to and want to make that adjustment to policy so that it's super
Clear,
and
yeah.
transparent.
oh, and it's just one other thing, I forgot, Chris, you asked me to mention this, is that the South Coast branch
Great.
group is looking for training opportunities there too, like for across all three of the branch, all three of the.
I
school
added
districts.
that to the survey.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. They added that to the survey to see if that could be like training opportunities. So I think one of the topics that you were interested in actually was
there. That's thank you.
part of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah, and if it's an item again for those education sessions that everyone would feel they would benefit from, then that also saves the cost, because then whether it's a webinar or something that's recorded or a, you know, through Justice Institute, you can often get group deals, so that if you sign up X number of people, you get a discount. But again, that would be a decision of the board for those education sessions. Anything else, my personal opinion, anything outside of our policy, we just need to discuss, and if we're gonna make a change, then we need to make that change to policy.
Yeah, so I think what I'm hearing are two different things that we need, or not, two things, I should say. We need to look at the budget and see what's available to us and what we're spending on an annual basis. Because some things like BCSTA fees are the same. If South Coast branch starts to actually meet in person a couple times a year, which looking like maybe that might happen, that's going to impact our budget again. With the CSBA, the national conference, we're chatting about it briefly and thinking that maybe it should be, because of the expense, that or something like that, the chair and vice chair be limited to attending instead of opening that right up, because that will severely impact the budget. But there's great value in it. And then perhaps we can put a request into BCSTA when they're doing their ed sessions to include some of these bigger topics like conflict resolution and whatnot, but all online. You know, they're conducted by Zoom, and as part of our fees, we can express our interest in additional classes.
If they're webinars, sorry,
No, go ahead.
if they're webinars, if they're recorded, I think that's also would be really a value because not everyone is available to. Like, take a webinar that's only offered from this time, so.
Yeah,
And that'd be a really good request to just ensure that accessibility for everyone.
yeah.
And then you can cover off the other things.
Yeah.
Potentially.
And if you have requests for education sessions that you want to see happen at AGM or at Academy, you can send that information to the professional development committee of the BCSTA, and they're pretty receptive to that. I know they've put out a few emails asking for people's ideas and thoughts. So that's another avenue that maybe even as a board, if we all had something in mind, we could send it as a board rather than an individual request, and maybe that would have more weight.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So we have more to look at there. Is that what we're hearing?
Yep.
I'm hearing? Okay. Anything else on that? Nope. BCSTA Provincial Council meeting. Motions.
Yeah, so I'll be brief. I will be brief this time because we're running out of time here, but so Cynthia is going to be attending BCSTA Provincial Council meeting coming up. And if anybody has any motions that they would like her to present or that you would like to go forward, these are for emergent items. She can speak on behalf of us. She'll be our representative at that meeting. So does anybody have any motions they would like to put forward for that?
Not everyone at once.
All right.
I
Well,
think we have-
Emergent is a little bit tricky.
But you gotta put a month
Is it
if
correct?
something comes up. Did you think of something?
Yes.
Send it through.
So it's right, like it's just a couple days after our next board meeting. So if you think of something in the meantime, you could let me know at probably the sooner the better so that they can prepare.
Just point of clarification from the superintendent, are these able to be individual promotions or do they come to the board? And the board agree at the next.
The board would have
meeting?
to.
So we want it on, so let's make sure we have that as a standing, as an item.
Yeah,
Do that agenda setting motions. And if
It's
anyone has
pretty-
anything, it can be discussed
pretty
and then we'll go. forward, Just so we don't miss anything.
yeah, it's pretty late at that point because they would have probably already set the agenda and stuff, but that's why it'd have to be emergent, but yeah. We will add it to next month's agenda as well.
Okay. Are there any questions? Comments, nothing? So any questions or clarification from the public?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Okay, then we've concluded the business of this agenda and we are now adjourned. The next meeting's in camera, so let's